And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. Welcome back. Here we are. I'm fading down the volume. If you're watching the video, you saw me messing with my phone for the entirety of the theme song. I was trying to. I got up from the couch with my work laptop, and because I was working in front of the TV, and I walked back over here, and it's not work hours to record this. The TV was blasting Bob's Burgers, and I was just trying to turn it down with LG's app. And for the these apps are. You can't trust them, and every one out of every, let's say 3 times out of every 10 times, it does not load up the television, and so it doesn't understand that, hey, they're on the same Wi-Fi, so he can turn it down. But so that did not work, and then I asked Google, and Google just kind of flashed at me. There was a new Gemini. Google's trying to replace Google Assistant with Gemini. Right now, they're both concurrently the same thing, except Gemini can't do everything Google Assistant does, and Google Assistant can't do everything Gemini does. And some of the Google Homes in my house are on Gemini, and some of them aren't, even though I opted in because I wanted to test it. Meanwhile, I believe... Well, the Max is. The Google Home Max definitely is. My phone is definitely still with Google Assistant because I just need, when I say turn off a light, I need it done. Or I could do it myself on another app. Everything's an app now. I'm not a fan of app-connected devices, unnecessarily app-connected devices. Ergo, my kitchen, the espresso machine, the countertop oven, the Instant Pot, they're not connected for reasons. Mostly because the Instant Pot is a little too old for that. But I went on Breville's website for the espresso machine and for the oven. They have newer versions that are the same exact, well, with the exception of the espresso machine. There's some of them have touchscreen stuff, but they have the same exact models except with Wi-Fi. And I think I don't need that. And then there are times where it's like 5 p.m. and I have like a potato in the oven, and then I have something else that needs to go in, but I want to start the quinoa at 5:20 because that's going to take 20 minutes, but I just want to leave it in the Instant Pot. And so I was like, oh, maybe I could use the phone. No, we don't need any of that stuff. I don't know. It's fine. The new, I have a pizza oven that I don't use, but it's in the storage unit behind the treadmill, and it's an uni pizza oven. I got it for so cheap. Oh my God. I get lucky sometimes, and then other times I don't. I bought something that I did not get lucky with. Well, I got lucky because it's new. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. Anyway, it's a rower. So now I have a treadmill, a bike, and a rower. You could probably see it in the back if you're watching the video. That tall, slender baby back there, that's a rower. I got very lucky. The guy did not use it at all. He charged me 2/3 of what he probably could have charged anybody, but I got there and he was like, I don't have time. I don't have time to use it, and I don't have time to haggle with people. And I was like, all right, I'll take it. Yeah, but it only had 66,000 meters on it. And then he only charged me, 2/3 of what it's supposed to cost, which is insane. So I put it to its paces on Monday because I picked it up Monday. Or Sunday. I picked it up Sunday. And then I used it for the first time Monday for a couple of minutes. And then I used it, devastatingly last night. I slept so well last night after that class. Anyway, back to it. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. What was I talking about? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Here we are. It is Thursday, January 22nd. And I'm currently working. I tried to turn on TV, and that's it. I'm trying to get back to what I was talking about, but it's not important. Here we are. The internet connected devices. I have one. So anyway, they have Breville now has internet connected devices. I don't know why my stuff. And the pizza oven, they have a new version of it that connects to Wi-Fi, and you can start the oven when you're inside or something. I get it. I understand. I don't need it. Oh, it has and also you can't start it from the inside, I don't think. But it does have, it monitors to where it has a temperature gauge, and it tells you on your phone when it's ready, when it's like, oh, I'm at 800 degrees, I'm at 900 degrees. So I guess, if that's your bag, if you're going to turn the pizza oven on, get up and walk away, that's cool. The times I've used the oven, I've stayed mostly near it, and yes, you can keep it running and everything, and because I did walk away from it periodically, but I didn't it wasn't in my apartment. It was at our pool, at my pool, and then I just kind of walked away from it to go back to my seat. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What else? I started playing Star Wars Outlaws. It's a game that is created by Ubisoft, and it did not release to wide acclaim last year. Was it last year? 2024. My goodness. And not released to wide acclaim. But it's an action adventure. I'm probably an hour in at most. I, again, am not a huge fan of Star Wars, period. But I played a little bit of Jedi, the one with Cal, the redhead guy. His name is Cal. He's a Jedi. So I played a little bit of that, and then the first one, and that didn't really grab me. It was Metroidvania. I'm not a huge fan of that. And then I played the sequel to that, and I beat it. Obviously, we know that. I've seen every movie. Well, I've seen the first seven movies. And I've seen Solo and Rogue One. I only like Rogue One. I don't, any of those other movies, you ask me what happens, I don't know. I know Han shot first. There you go. And then I watched Clone Wars. That's it. Clone Wars is great. And The Bad Batch, because that was a sequel to Clone Wars, more or less. And that I love that too. But I've given my all to Star Wars, and I'm just not a huge fan. Also, their fans are racist and sexist. Just like the Star Trek. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. The Star Trek Starfleet Academy premiered. And I watched, it was a double episode premiere on Paramount Plus. I'll say the pilot, like a majority of Star Trek shows, is good. If you watch the pilot to Voyager, to Next Generation, they're all so great because they're 90 minutes long, and they really get you in to what the show is going to be. For Starfleet Academy, I do like the show, and I'll continue watching it. It is a teen drama inside of a Star Trek show, but they dupe you. They just show you a Star Trek episode essentially in that pilot, and then the second episode is a teen drama. It pisses me off. I don't need teen dramas. I want to do Star Trek. Anyway, I do like the show. The main guy, he's like a man. He's playing a child. He's huge. He's gigantic. Oh my goodness. Ugh. And there's also there's like a young Klingon character who's a teenage Klingon character, and they put a voice modulator on him, and it is not working. But everything else is fine. Holly Hunter is good. Also, but hold on. Here's my biggest complaint. I could forgive any missteps in this show had it not been for this. The pilot is one show. The second episode is a different show. They have to marry these ideas because the pilot, again, is a Star Trek show. The second episode is a teen drama. It feels like Pretty Little Liars, a show which I watched and enjoyed when it was on. And everybody changed. Every single character turned into somebody that they weren't in the pilot. It was almost as if Alex Kurtzman, who is the head engineer now of Star Trek, I guess, was, wait, is it Alex Kurtzman? Wrote the pilot, and then yeah, Star Trek. It's as if he wrote the pilot and directed the episode, and then he said, "Okay, everybody, this is how it goes. So good luck." And then they all went, "Well, we're gonna change it." Let me see if he actually did. Yeah, he did Starfleet Academy. He's the director, writer, and executive producer. I really love Strange New Worlds. Anyway, the reason I bring up that show is because that death slug, Stephen Miller, put out a tweet about how Star Trek has fallen and it's so left wing and all this stuff, and all the racist Star Trek fans are mad about the diversity. Jesus Christ, you fucking idiots. Why are you watching any of this stuff? This is the diversity is the reason I liked Star Trek over Star Wars. Although George Lucas, he was married to a black woman. Good for him. Same thing with Robert De Niro. All the women that we've known he's been married to and had children with, 2 black, 1 Asian. Just saying. Good for Robert De Niro. Oh my goodness. Star Wars Outlaws. My biggest gripe with the game is controls. Controls are strange. I am not enjoying the controls. It's published by Ubisoft, and and I guess it's developed by Massive Entertainment. Who did they make? The Division 2. Yeah, and I wasn't a huge fan of their control scheme for those games. They also did Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, a game that was, when it came out, it performed and people liked it enough, and then it went silent. And then the new Avatar movie came out, and then new DLC was released for it, and it like just went gangbusters. You couldn't get. I was lucky to get a new copy for like $10 or $15 on Black Friday, I think. But anyway, the new DLC comes out, and there's a new third-person mode. There's DLC. There's story stuff. I'm like, what? It's crazy. So that might explain the control scheme, because I'm just not a huge fan of it. But I'm interested in the story to see where this goes. It stars Humberly Gonzalez. 33 years old. Is this her first thing? She was in Star Trek Section 31, a movie I could not tell you anything about. Michelle Yeoh was in that. She played her character as a spinoff. It was supposed to be a spinoff of Star Trek Discovery, and then that show was canceled. And then they said, let's cobble together a movie from the episode we shot, and it ain't good. All right, let's get into the stories for today. This comes from Variety. It's written by Alex Rittman. BBC confirms landmark YouTube deal, including new channels and Winter Olympics coverage. This was hinted at maybe like a day before or something like that. But BBC will now make some YouTube originals under their YouTube channel. It was reported last week. That's right. That's all. It'll include investment in YouTube first programming and the launch of new YouTube channels aimed at children and young adults. CNBC has its Make It YouTube channel, and that is like young adult central. They also have their regular YouTube channel where they post videos about different companies and stuff, and it's good. Is that just CNBC? Because I don't believe that is just CNBC, but I might. Yeah, it is CNBC because that's the one I follow. It's a good channel. Their videos are like 10 minutes long, and they'll tell you whatever the topic is. It's like, but it's very formulaic titles. The rise and fall of Applebee's. It's really great, informative, prescient videos. And I guess I assume YouTube Kids is doing well enough for people to. I mean, Miss Rachel's doing a fantastic job. I'm trying to start saying what I mean. Anyway, the BBC also looked to use YouTube to showcase what it describes as, quote, BBC moments that bring the UK together and promote its linear channels, starting with the Winter Olympics in February. YouTube is the most watched platform in the world. It dwarfs Netflix, which dwarfs everything else. And I wonder where TikTok lands on that. And people continue just to watch YouTube because that's where you can find everything. You can find things, just videos from the Dodo, where they post stories about white people and animals. Every time I see a Dodo, I watch a lot of Dodo videos, so they're recommended to me. But I noticed that every single person is the same type of person. And then there's Taskmaster. There's you can watch late night shows. There's a slew of different things you can see on YouTube. They have movies now, and you can watch movies right now like The Wiz on YouTube, which is great for free. And if you have YouTube Premium, you don't have to watch it with ads. It's fantastic. It's a major effort for the BBC to deal with the challenge of YouTube when it comes to younger audiences. Ratings agency Barb reported that the number of viewers watching YouTube in December was 52 million, surpassed that of BBC's combined channels, 51 million, for the first time. There's going to be... The partnership is going to support the government's creative industries sector plan by investing in creators across the UK. Okay, that's pretty cool. It was also reported that Netflix is going to premiere its first, and I'm not gonna link to this because I don't really care about this. It's going to premiere its first vertical shows in the app this year. Which means people are going, just in the same way you watch an Instagram reel or a TikTok or a YouTube short, Netflix is going to have vertical scrolling videos and everything. It's unfortunately the way that things are the way that digital media is going. New York Times has a new vertical section. And it mostly works because those videos are made specifically for that. However, their videos are now just all vertical, which sucks. ESPN has a Verts section. Disney Plus will be getting a Verts section. And I'm just not a huge fan. I am not a big fan of this. Because remember when Instagram came out and then you could post videos or pictures, and YouTube, when YouTube first happened, people were always mad when people shot vertical video. And now that's the way that we've gone because, on your phone, you're just sitting there. Not you. Most people are. I hate it when I've complained about Peloton enough. Never mind. I'm not going to do it. All right. This next one comes from The Verge. You see that? Substack is launching a TV app and not everyone is happy. Written by Mia Sato. I had a notification, or I guess an email, from Substack this morning, and I saw that they launched an app on the TV, and I went, "What?" But I blew it off because I figured, okay, well, I don't know what this is. This new app, which is going to launch on Apple TV and Google TV, it's for audiences that use videos and live streams. Substack started as a newsletter platform. And there have been issues with Substack. The leaders don't make political stances, the proper political stances. And there's other issues and everything, but it's become, Substack has more or less become another version of Patreon. But Substack started as a place for writers of all types, whether they're political, whether they're social, right? Is that what I'm getting at? Like social, like they write about social issues or whatever. Whether they're news people, whether they're your favorite writer or a media correspondent, and this is where they put their newsletter. It was a place just for newsletters. But as, again, media ecosystems have flourished, it has become a place where people are putting, I guess, videos now. I did not know that could happen. Subscribers can watch videos and live streams from creators they follow, but the app will also have recommendations based for you feeds that mixes in other creators' content. The TV app is available to both free and paid subscribers, and Substack says it will eventually add audio content and more discovery features. At that point, you're just becoming YouTube. And it feels like they just want people to start posting their videos there and audio there. No, I would never host anything there. And also, people don't like this. There's a negative reaction across the board because Substack, as Mia writes, Substack is no longer a place prioritizing writing. Beyond the video and live streaming, they've also added things like a tweet-like feature called Notes, pledged to spend $20 million to lure TikTok creators to the platform. They did ads, or no, they signaled that they were open to doing ads, even though that they've said that they will not do ads. It began rolling out sponsored segments in December 2025 that writers could plug into their newsletters. Substack is and was a great place. People went there because it wasn't Medium, it wasn't Tumblr. It was a place that seemed a bit more professional and where you can make money. And where you could have it was an alternative, just like Patreon. It was an alternative to Patreon because it was a good platform for writing. But when you do this, because Substack is a company, and I'm looking at this from the company's perspective, they also need to make more money. And unfortunately, that will come at the cost of its current users. Now, there's been some gigantic, people have made a lot of money from Substack, beyond that turdy little cherub, Barry Weiss. Her dumbass company was made money from Substack. There was a woman who, this is years ago, and I know I've talked about it on the Constitutionals hundreds of episodes ago, but there's a woman who was the top paid Substack writer, and I think she was like a historian or something. And it was calculated that based on her subscriber count and based on how much she charged, she was the first Substack millionaire. The question is, are the users of Substack, and I'm talking about the writers, are those people going to adopt this technology and just drive people to to open their Substack and stay on their Substack in the same way that I go to New York Times and I'll watch one of their videos, I'll read their articles, I'll play their games, and let's pretend I do this. I listen to the podcast on the NewYorkTimes.com instead of opening up my podcast app of choice. I'm sure that there's some users out there who use just Patreon and they watch their the podcasts that they subscribe to on there, and they listen to them on there, or they listen to the music, or they watch whatever the creator person is doing. But sometimes, well, actually all the time, it's just easier just to put something on YouTube. It's just easier to put if you have music It's easier to do it on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube Music, as opposed to just saying, here's this link to this thing where you have to listen to it there, and you have to open this app. Whereas if you're going to listen to, I'm not a fan of the show, but if you're going to listen to Good Hang with Amy Poehler, I'm not a fan because I don't need any more podcasts in my life. I'm done. But if you're not, if you're somebody who's like, okay, I'm gonna listen to the show, you're gonna go to, presumably, if you are just a passive podcast fan, you're not gonna buy a podcasting app like Pocket Cast or whatever. You're not gonna do that. That's just for us freaks. But you're going to go to Apple Podcasts, you're going to listen to it there, and then you're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to watch the next episode. You're going to go to YouTube. You're not going to go to amypoehler.biz and then see her proprietary player and listen it there, or watching it there. Listen it there or watching it there. I understand that Substack needs to make money. But I think the other tactics are much better. The notes are very confusing on the Substack platform, and it took me a very long time because I just recently reposted all of the 95% of the interviews from the original cpluscomedy.com on Substack. And it was so confusing how to figure out how to make a post versus a note. Because I did not want to make a note. I get why they want to bring over TikTok people in the same way that Instagram wanted to do that. And in the same way that YouTube wants to do that. But in the end, those people are going to, if your platform is good enough, those people will just take whatever friggin' TikTok they posted and they're going to post it right on YouTube Shorts or Instagram. And I have no qualms with Substack adding video. I'm not sure about the live streaming, but I guess that comes with the video territory. Territory? Territory. Yes. But I largely in part I agree with the writers. This is a dense turn away from writing, and it's unfortunate. This next one comes from The Athletic, how ESPN's Australian Open coverage left some American tennis fans cold, written by Matthew Futterman. The Australian Open was it's the first big tennis thing of the year, in the same way that the Hawaii thing is the Sony's Hawaii, whatever it's called, is the big golf thing of the year, of the first of the year. One of those I did not know even started. I missed 2 days of the Sony thing, and then I saw it on a Saturday afternoon. I went, what? Wait a minute, who's playing? And I'm looking through them. I'm like, look, these are all my guys. Sahith, the rest. I completely missed it on Sunday, so I only saw it Saturday. But this, if you're on Disney Plus and you watch the live section, and I only use it for the Simpsons live channel, every single time I would pull up the live section, it would have ABC News, the Simpsons, and then 2 channels of the Australian Open. But this is like last week or 2 weeks ago, and it would say next week. So I knew the Australian Open was coming. Now, the issue is, because ESPN launched this ESPN Unlimited, and people seemingly were like, this is the last straw. Like, we don't need cable because sports can now be watched on this app. Yes, buddy, I see you. Oh my God, you're so needy. There's been an issue in who has access to what. Now let's remember the tiers of ESPN streaming. There's ESPN Plus, right? Hold on. Which is like the original way to subscribe. What is going on with it? What are we? It's like double clicking and middle clicking. That is... Oh, no. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Something's going on. Something's going on. Oh, no. There's something wrong with the mouse. All right. Turns it off. Turn it back on. What the hell is going on? Oh. Bear with me with these technical difficulties. Every time I click, it's like it's right-clicking, too. So it's not clicking through. Oh, God. Oh, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I'm trying to pull out the receiver, but it's not working. Wait. Okay, we're good. Now it's fixed. All right. So on plus.espn.com, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways to get ESPN. So obviously you can get it through your service provider of choice, be it cable, satellite, or internet. Hold on. And YouTube TV, Hulu Live TV. Okay. So here are all the bundles. Or here's all the ways you can do it besides that. Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Unlimited bundle. That's everything. So you have access to Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Unlimited, which is every single thing they have, including the stuff that's on ESPN Plus, all of the different live golf streams, ESPN, ESPN2, ACC Network, SECN, ESPN Plus streaming. That's more ESPN Plus. ESPN News, Deportes, all this different stuff. Live games, whatever. Then there's just ESPN Unlimited, which is all that stuff without Disney Plus and Hulu. Then there's Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Select. ESPN Select is the new ESPN Plus. So you only get a certain percentage of that stuff. Then there's just ESPN Select. You get ESPN Select by itself. Then there's ESPN Fox One bundle. If you like sports, then that's the one you want the most. ESPN Unlimited is $40 a month. For $16 more, you get access to Disney Plus and Hulu. You might as well. That's what they want you to think. The problem is ESPN moved the Australian Open to the unlimited tier. So people who originally had access to it, or who thought they would just by signing up for ESPN Select or ESPN Plus, lost out. For some fans, making the upgrade caused apps to glitch or fail entirely. The additional unheralded paywall, at least to fans who had not read the company's pre-tournament media announcement, which does not cite that the app ESPN Unlimited costs $30, led to widespread anger on social media. This is just an unnecessary paywall, and yes, it is supposed to be easier for those people who don't want to do cable or sign up for a whole package. But this would, if I were somebody who was expecting, like, hey, I'm going to subscribe to ESPN Select, I'm going to pay $16, and I don't want to spend any more money, then this should cause ire. Of course, the television schedule for the Australian Open is all over the place. ESPN's coverage includes 2 one-hour highlight shows in the middle and final weekends, an app that allows viewers to watch 4 matches simultaneously and highlights and streams through Disney Plus for all Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN bundle subscribers. They put the stadium courts behind the paywall, and that's supposed to draw more viewers. That's not fun, in this, like, there are people like me who would love to just watch a single match. If you watch it on television, if you're somebody who wakes up at 3:00 like I do, 3:30 like I do, watching these matches is a godsend because you don't have to watch whatever the culinary wars on Netflix as you're running on the treadmill. I love Culinary Wars. It's such a good show. Just like 90-minute episodes of people cooking in Korea. It's fun. And everybody's so nice to each other. There's no fighting. There's disagreements, but there's no fighting. And then I go to the gym and ESPN's on the TVs and I see, Francis Tiafoe playing live in a match at 5:00 in the morning, and it's coming to an end. Or then I get home from the gym and Naomi Osaka is playing, and it's 6:30, and the match is coming to an end. That's good and fine and well. And then later in the day, I think around 3 or 4 o'clock, they play these matches, the broadcast matches, replay them. And that's how it's pretty much always been. The issue is that there's just this new streaming element, which is supposed to be easier for everybody, has not been easy for people to access. And like every streaming thing, there's going to be faults. When on New Year's Eve, when Stranger Things had its final episode uploaded, the app crashed. I'm sure people have access issues when they're watching the new episode of The Pit. Are you licking yourself? I do. ESPN Disney is not unlike every other company out there in that they can falter. And just say that, hey, you have to get ESPN Unlimited, or you have to have this in order to access that. It's the easiest thing. Okay, this final one comes from Clayton Davis at Variety. Oscars Diversity Report. Sinners ties for a record for most black nominees from a single film, plus milestones for Chloe Zhao, Guillermo del Toro, and more. This morning, as I finished working out at 8:30 a.m., remember, I started at 5. As I finished working out, and I was stretching for 25 minutes, excuse me. I'm really good at it. I was stretching for 25 minutes. I turned to GMA to see the Oscar announcements from Lewis Pullman and Danielle Brooks. This was it was a decent year for diversity. It was better than most years. I think it was better than the Golden Globes. And Sinners broke a record. There were 16 nominations for the movie. A total of 10 black artists are nominated. And buddy, I understand. Dinner will be in 30 minutes. All right? Who's my big boy? Who's my big boy? That's the nicest you'll ever see me be to him. I'm a stern daddy. A total of 10 black artists are nominated, which ties the all-time record for a movie producing the most black nominees in history. We've got Ryan Coogler himself is nominated for Best Picture part, Director, Original Screenplay. Zinzi Coogler, Best Picture. They produce together. Michael B. Jordan, actor. Delroy Lindo, supporting. Wunmi Mosaka, supporting. Hannah Beachler, production design. Autumn Durold, Arcapa, cinematography. Ruth E. Carter, costume design. She went to school with my stepdad. Shunika Terry, makeup and hairstyling, and Raphael Sadiq for original song. The previous record holder was WB title Judas the Black Messiah. Well, that's a movie I saw and forgot. It's fascinating. I think about this all the time. You want the movies that you like to be, buddy, go away. You want the movies that you like to be recognized, but then do you remember any Oscar-winning movie, besides The Godfather or whatever? But do you remember Crash? Nobody's like going back and watching Crash. Nobody's going back. I'm glad La La Land didn't win Best Picture. It deserves it, but I'm glad it didn't win. Because who's going back and watching Moonlight? So to say Judas and the Black Messiah, that's a movie I went and saw in theaters. I enjoyed my time with it. I will never see that movie again. That being said, if F1 does not win Best Picture, I swear to God in heaven, I'm going to drive down to the Chinese theater and riot. What else? Moving on down. In the acting categories, 6 of the 20 acting nominees, or 30%, are actors from underrepresented communities. And yet Chloe Zhao made a movie entirely about white people. So did Guillermo del Toro. Well, I have major issues with Guillermo del Toro. I have a lot of issues with Guillermo del Toro. This year also marks a banner season for Latino representation across multiple categories. Mexican auteur Guillermo del Toro, though he missed directing, is the most nominated Latino producer in Oscar history thanks to his reinterpretation of Frankenstein. Meanwhile, Puerto Rican actor Benicio del Toro adds another nomination to his impressive resume. He did a fantastic job in one battle after another. As a guy who just wore sweatpants the entire time, or a gi, I guess he wore a gi. God, he was fantastic, and he drank beers the entire time. Wagner Moura breaks ground as the first Brazilian nominated for Best Actor and third overall for acting after Fernanda Montenegro and Fernanda Torres. He's in oh boy, is it? Was it? No, hold on. The Secret Agent. I've not seen this movie. When I heard it was a Brazilian movie, I was like, this is gonna be great. We're good, and all the hype that you hear surrounding the awards, we're finally getting some more representation. It's fantastic. I love this. Again, I will root for every person of color at the movies, even if it's Guillermo del Toro. I will root for him to win but I don't want to see the mostly white actors that he hires. He just refuses to hire people of color. Anyway, in animation, Yvette Moreno, the first Latina ever nominated in the category, is now a 2-time nominee, earning another nod for Zootopia 2, which is the highest grossing animated movie ever. Congratulations. Chloe Zhao is the first woman of color ever nominated twice for Best Director, and the second woman overall to do so. Nia DaCosta is the only person of color involved with the new 28 Years Later movie, and she's directing it. And I would love to see her get nominated. She's great. I like her. I like Chloe Zhao, but I will not see Hamnet. I have no interest in doing that. There's also Geeta Gandbhir, who is the first Indian woman to be double nominated at Oscars. Second Indian woman nominated. She is the second Indian woman nominated in documentary feature for Netflix's The Perfect Neighbor after Nisha Paja, who was nominated for To Kill a Tiger. Jafar Panahi is the first non-French director of a movie not in French to be nominated for Best International Feature with the thriller It Was Just an Accident. He's also the second Iranian writer to be nominated for original screenplay after Asghar Farhadi for his separation. Buddy, you got to stop coming over here. There's also a good gender set of nominations too. I'm sorry. I'm scanning through. Yeah, there's a lot of good gender ones as well. But I think it was a good year. I think I've grown tired of this just traditional Oscar nomination choice pool type. There's a movie like Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, his first movie with people of color in it too. It just doesn't. You married a black woman. Why don't you make movies with people of color? Anyway, I've grown tired of this because, to me, it just feels as though these movies are kind of samey. And then you get movies that stand out like One Battle After Another and like F1 that are just fun. And K-pop Demon Hunters. We had no idea that a movie like, oh, and also K-pop Demon Hunters, but we had no idea that movies like that would do well, and Sinners, and movies like that would do well. But then they're put up against the same style of movie over and over and over again, like Hamnet, like the rest of the stuff that is just looking for the same thing. I'm sorry, I'm scanning through the snubs, and I don't care for the movies. Although it is interesting that Wicked for Good is basically Wicked for Mediocre. Hey, how many times did I say that joke? Okay, something's going on with this. Something's going on with the whatchamacallit? With the whatever this stuff is. The LG stuff. Anyway, how many times have I said Wicked for Mediocre today? Twice. Okay. Listen, if you like what you heard, you're at the website cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. If you want to see a video version of this show, as well as a video version of the other shows, including Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs podcasts, as well as the interviews, go to youtube.com/C+Comedy. You can see all that stuff there. Follow us on social media at C+Comedy on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Me, those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.